should I start? What should I go with? There's so many things to learn about horses. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as I possibly can. I think I'm going to turn my sound down a little. All right, can you still hear? Maybe turn it up just a little bit. The master's on the right. I got to stay away from the speakers. So, you know, every horse, they all have natural instincts, and they all also have desires. We need to kind of think about their natural instincts, and we also need to think about their desires to be able to teach our horses. You know, the word trainer, in my mind, doesn't really correlate with teaching our horses what they need to do. I like the word teacher instead of trainer, because it's very important that we teach them what we want before we expect anything out of them. Horses don't come naturally knowing how to lead. They don't know how to naturally pick their feet up given to that pressure. All the things that we need to do, be able to open their mouth, to look in their mouth, or to put the bit in their mouth, these are all things that we need to teach the horse. And it doesn't matter who you listen to, whether it's John and Josh Lyons, or Craig Cameron, or Monty Roberts, or any of them. They all have something in common, is that they all teach through pressure and release. Everything that we do with the horse we need to apply some sort of pressure to the horse, and when the horse does the right thing, we need to release the pressure at the correct time. That's the most important thing, is the timing of that release. The natural instincts of the horse, I'll just go through them quickly. Every horse is fearful. Every horse is herd-bound. And every horse is resistful. There's resistance there. Fearful horse, you know, that's a horse that, man, it's on its toes all the time. Its head's up in the air. It's jumpy. It's not sure about you. It would rather keep its distance. They're kind of one of the more easy horses to work with. I can use that fear of that horse to motivate the horse. A herd-bound horse, that's the horse that just wants to be with his buddies. Can't think of anything else except being with his buddies. Whinnying, pawing their feet, carrying on. Those are one of the more difficult horses to deal with, because if you can't keep their brain in school, if they're always looking out the window, it's really hard to teach them. The resistful horse, every horse is resistful. When you start to put a halter on a horse for the first time in a lead rope, and you go to pull on that rope, their first natural instinct is to pull against that pressure. Or if I push on their front shoulder and I want them to step away from me, their first reaction is to push into me. We need to work with that resistance side of the horse to get them to do what we want. The natural desires of a horse. The horse wants to be left alone. That's its biggest desire. It wants to have a job to do, but it wants to be left alone. It just wants to be a horse. Every time that I ask the horse to do something, it doesn't matter what it is, there needs to be some sort of reward at the end. When the horse does what you want, you need to be able to reward that horse some way. I use a round pen to start my horses because it allows me to really check out what are the natural instincts of the horse. What's the strongest? Not everything is going to be equal. You know, some horses are more herd-bound, some horses are more fearful, some horses are more resistful. And so by using the round pen, I determine which one of that natural instinct I need to work with the most. And it's a good way for me to communicate with the horse, stay a far distance from the horse. He feels comfortable at a distance. I feel more comfortable at a distance. And we teach through body communication or body language. if there's no other word for it. That's what round penning is. The other thing round penning is it's teaching the horse how to learn. We've all been in school and, doing these crazy, silly things for our teachers that we look at and we say, I'll never use this in my real life. Why am I doing this? Why are you making me do this? Well, it's teaching you how to learn, and it's one of the most important things that you can possibly do. So, I'm going to come into the pen with Snip, and I haven't done any work with Snip. Mel and Paul have done some work with him. First thing, I'm just going to come in here, and he kind of comes right up to me, and that's great. I love that. But I need to establish myself, and I need to establish my space. Good. And I'm just asking, the first thing I'm going to ask this horse is just to step away from me. Good. As the leader, as a leader, the lead mare, just like in my household, the lead mare always tells that person or the horse where to go, what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And if we're in a herd, it's that lead mare that pushes the other one away. They do it by pinning their ears. If they don't listen to that, then they might open their mouth and grumble a little harder. If they don't listen to that, they're going to bite them. If they don't listen to that, they're going to turn around and start kicking them. Just the fact that I can come in and get this horse to step away from me, it tells that horse who's in charge. If that horse comes at me and I back up, well, that horse is kind of like, hey, guess what? So that's kind of one thing that I check out first. A lot of horses that I get in the round pen aren't this bold or come up to me this way. This horse has already been worked with, obviously, and it wants to be with me. Every horse has a desire to be with the herd. And right now, the horse and myself, we're the herd. There's nobody else here. And a herd can consist of two entities. So right now, he's looking at me as the herd. Hopefully, he's looking at me as the herd leader. He's going to be looking at, what do you want me to do? Where are we going to go? And if you can get your horse in that frame of mind, especially a young horse, that is the building blocks for the future. In the round pen, obviously there's some good benefits that I get out of the round pen, but you always need to break things down in its simplest form. My first thing is just to get this horse to move. If you've been around horses at all, you've listened to us preach about pre-signal, signal, and appropriate reinforcement. That's a very important thing for us to do because that is being fair to the horse. If I ask Marcus to take out the garbage, I'm going to ask him really nice first. Marcus, would you please take out the garbage? And if he does it on the pre-signal, awesome. If he doesn't listen to the pre-signal, then I need to give him a signal. Marcus, take out the garbage. And if he doesn't listen to that, there's some appropriate reinforcement that comes next. Marcus, if you don't take out the garbage, you don't get your PlayStation for a week. That's my reinforcement. That's the only reinforcement I have. But hopefully, you can put a reward. Instead of a reinforcement, I really try and put a reward in place. I want that horse to listen to the pre-signal. If it doesn't listen to the pre-signal, I want it to listen to the signal. And I look for that. Any chance I can give to get that to happen, I'm going to let it happen. Because if you teach with reward, you become a way better teacher. If you always teach with discipline, that horse, it resents what you want it to do. So, breaking things down, the simplest thing that I could ask this horse to do is just to move away from me. All right, we've kind of established that a little bit. I'm going to ask the horse to move around in the round pen, and I use a rope Some people, you know, it doesn't matter if you use a crop or a whip or what, I don't care what you use. It's how you use it. It's the tool in your hand, it's how you use it. I should say it's not the tool in your hand, it's how you use the tool. I like a rope because I can extend this rope out. If I need to get after the horse, I can extend my body all the way up to that round pen in a matter of seconds. I really try not to touch the horse with the rope. If at all possible, I really try not to touch him with the rope. I don't want him to be scared of the rope, but I want him to also respect the rope and what I'm asking the horse to do. So I'm going to have the horse move. Good. Put the rope down. That's its reward. Keep moving. All right, we're moving in one direction. That's great. Did you notice how when the horse started to move that I dropped the rope? That was the horse's reward. All right, we're going to up. And I don't need to make him go really, really fast around the arena. I just, nice little clip. Pretty soon I'm going to ask the horse to turn. Now the first time I ask the horse to turn, I don't care which way he turns, good.